Is anyone else suffering from superhero fatigue? There's a new Marvel movie out every minute, and with shows like The Boys and whatever else, it feels like we've seen the genre from every angle. So you can imagine my disappointment when I started reading Industrial Strength Magic and realized it's a superhero story. Yeah, my bad, I didn't read the blurb. I just heard the main character has an interesting class, and he does, super original there, and I liked the name of the book, Industrial Strength Magic. Then the superhero stuff starts, and I thought I was in for a bad time, but I was wrong.
No fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
I'll admit, at the start of Industrial Strength Magic, I thought I'd accidentally picked up a young adult high school drama. While the book does cater to the young adult audience, the whole high school thing's just a blip in the story and it's over before it begins. Then they sort of take the high school drama to the streets, so same thing. Alright, let's discuss the good before we get into the villainously bad bits of Industrial Strength Magic. Like I said, I've been suffering from superhero fatigue, so it takes something pretty special to make me care about a superhero story, and admittedly, the author, Macronomicon, what kind of parent names their kid Macronomicon? It's almost as bad as Paradox. Anyway, the author puts a fresh spin on the genre. Really, it's a fresh spin on all the genres, including lit RPG, that have been tinkered together to create this story. Our protagonist Perry's class is unexpected and original. It might be a spoiler because it's not mentioned in the blurb, which I have now read, but great angle. I appreciate it. And the way he gets his powers, it's a creative way to push a pure superhero fantasy novel into lit RPG territory, so well played there too. The characters in this story are so fun to read. We get plenty of industrial strength banter and compelling dynamics between characters. The humor's frequent and on point most of the time, without being too overbearing. So many great and unexpected lines.
It did as much damage as a puppy fart.
Great metaphor. I'll be sure to slip, nay, force it into conversation sometime soon. Back to our protagonist, Perry. Once he gets his powers, he gets kinda cocky and borderline arrogant. He almost slides into unlikable character territory, but for me, he doesn't really, especially when his personality shift is explained. It makes sense. I love when things in stories make sense and don't happen for no apparent reason. Also, there are consequences for his actions when he gets a little too overconfident and screws up. Yeah, he has a bit of plot armor to accompany his actual armor, but he's not a straight up Perry Sue. He's almost like if Jason Asano in He Who Fights with Monsters was well written, but let's not open that can of industrial strength worms. Plot-wise, Industrial Strength Magic hits all the right beats and it's pretty well paced. Action scenes are broken up with some good old-fashioned tinkering. Perry and the gang never get too comfortable, they're constantly being challenged. The tension builds and builds throughout the narrative and really picks up towards the end. There's an overarching problem or central source of conflict, which is complemented by the constant stream of somewhat more minor problems the gang faces. Most of the baddies are well written and worthy of being antagonists. They actually cause a bit of trouble for the crew. Yes, some of the villains are just villaining for the sake of being villainous, which is somewhat expected in a wacky superhero story, but most have stronger motivations than that. Perry even gets a nemesis, which in this world is a relationship you need to register with the government. I did laugh at that along with so many other things. I will say, to enjoy this book, you need to accept and lean into the absurdity of it. It does have serious moments, but overall it's kind of cartoonish. Just look at Breaker and his power, that's all I'll say. Oh yeah, there's some industrial strength sexual tension among certain characters without the story turning into a superhero harem. Could have easily taken a wrong turn there, but it didn't, or hasn't, yet. And before we move on to the bad bits, I have to mention the narration. Absolutely top notch. Steve Campbell and Annie Ellicott absolutely nail it. I'm loving the dual narration for male and female characters. No ladies unintentionally sound like low budget drag queens, backed up by Jeff Hayes and Justin Thomas James. It's a recipe for a good time. Okay, that's enough praise. Let's discuss the bad bits. One part of industrial strength magic that confused me, maybe because I don't understand the US healthcare system. I think the character's name's Jason. His mum gets sick and her boss fires her because he doesn't want to pay her health insurance. But if he's already paying the insurance, what's the problem? She's covered, yeah? Why would someone stop paying insurance the second it's needed? That defeats the purpose of paying insurance in the first place. It's an important plot point and I don't understand it. Like I said, it could just be my own ignorance. Another part that confused me is the mimic story that comes out of nowhere. Did I miss something, or is it totally irrelevant to the plot? Now, listening to the audiobook, sometimes I do get interrupted and miss a line or two, so maybe there's a quick explanation I missed, but from what I did hear, all I can say is cool story, bro. The author does drop some industrial strength exposition occasionally, which is okay for the most part. It seems Perry's brain is in a constant state of info dumping, so it makes sense, but there is some over explaining. For example, with the blood contract, you can guess what's in the contract based on the result, but then the author literally explains the whole contract. It's like reading the exact same thing twice, but said in a slightly different way. I don't need it paraphrased. The explanation doesn't even give any new info. Why do I need to hear it again? What is this, a training manual for writing blood contracts? I don't think so. Also, warning, there is some cringy dialogue throughout, but it's not story breaking by any stretch. Considering the young adult vibe, it gets a pass, a few eye rolling moments, but it's mostly okay. My next gripe is more of a gripe with the entire lit RPG genre. Why must every protagonist have a special gift or stroke of luck that makes them super powerful eventually? Sure, they usually still earn their accomplishments, but they're starting from a place of privilege. It's like the super successful entrepreneur who starts with a big fat loan from mummy and daddy, but still claims to be self-made. I mean, yeah, they did turn that money into more money, but they'd have to screw up pretty bad to lose the advantage. Alright, that rant's over, so now I can start a new rant. While some of the more annoying lit RPG tropes are toned down, for example, stat dumps aren't too invasive, in one of the fight scenes towards the end, the spell explanations ruin the momentum. They derail the entire fight. Maybe that's the point, is the author just poking fun at other series that unironically do this? Dare I mention He Who Fights with Monsters again? Because it only really happens in that one scene. Either way, if you want to derail a fight scene, absolutely throw a wall of exposition in there. Throw in several walls. Let's really kill the tension. All right, another rant over. Let's bring it home. Overall, Industrial Strength Magic Book 1 is a wild superhero ride with solid world building and a great cast of characters. Plenty of humour and genuine laugh out loud moments. Also, plenty of unanswered questions that should make Book 2 and beyond interesting. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but it's a good cliffhanger. It's a new problem, not some unresolved BS the author's trying to milk for 10 more books. So overall, we've got some industrial strength storytelling on our hands. Now watch the review again and drink every time I say industrial strength. No, actually don't. That is industrial strength irresponsibility. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, hit subscribe anyway and hate watch my content. That's always fun.